we actually had a situation 2 days ago where we'd gone out around town and there was a guy, I don't even know why he'd done it, but he was like quite a young guy and he was wearing a balaclava, but just covering his nose and mouth, like this black balaclava. And he just gave off scary vibes, and he was like looking around, and he caught our eye, and then he started following us. Hi everyone, welcome to another video. Okay, so over my years on YouTube, I have made videos where I've spoken about brands that I've said, look, under no circumstances am I ever going to buy this brand. Or maybe it's not even a brand, it's more of a product of a certain brand. And I don't know what's gone on with me, but I've just noticed that maybe it's just me getting older, but I've noticed in the last year, about the last year, a lot of my opinions on brands that I would once not have even considered, I'm changing my mind on, and I'm kind of thinking, oh, I actually would buy something from that brand. What is going on with me? So the first thing I want to talk about are something that I never really was that into, and it's designer bags that don't have big logos all over them. So for me, I would only ever really spend my money on a bag that had a logo. And I had a lot of you saying at the time, I think it wasn't so much aimed at me, some of it probably was, but it was more conversations in the comments section about why people buy bags that have got logos. And a lot of you were saying, do you do it for like some sort of status? Do you do it to prove yourself? And it was never that case for me. It was more that I just liked the aesthetic of a logo. I liked how it looked. I liked what it added to an outfit, and I still do. I still have bags with logos on and I enjoy wearing them, but I'm enjoying wearing them less. And this is something that I'm really surprised about with me, that I'm spending more of my money on brands, clothing as well. Clothing that's not covered in logos, and I never thought I'd see the day. But I'm getting more into, I don't want to say quiet luxury, because I don't actually like what quiet luxury stands for. So it's not that as such, it's just safety as well. In the UK, particularly around London, if you walk around like a beacon, dressed head to toe in logos, you've got problems, potentially, you know. There's a lot of theft that goes on, there's a lot of muggings, there's a lot of phone snatching. You go out for a ride on your bike, you leave your bike chained up, you're lucky to have a saddle left by the time you get back to it. All the pieces have been removed. London is just not what it used to be, and I don't feel necessarily comfortable walking around with like a big logo. And actually, I don't even feel comfortable walking around without a logo but smartly dressed. And David, my husband, will always say to me, he's like, you look really smart today. Yeah, there's no logo, but you look really well put together. Can you go and dress down a bit? And if you saw what I've been wearing for the last couple of months now, it's kind of like a big puffy puffer coat over my leggings with sneakers on. It's just, I'm not dressing the way I used to. I still do, but normally if I'm going out for lunch or to dinner or to an event, but if I'm just going around errands in the day, I don't dress the way I used to, and I do think it's a safety thing for me. I have been out before dressed up, and we actually had a situation 2 days ago where we'd gone out around town and there was a guy, I don't even know why he'd done it, but he was like quite a young guy and he was wearing a balaclava, but just covering his nose and mouth, like this black balaclava. And he just gave off scary vibes, and he was like looking around, and he caught our eye. And even David was like, we need to get out of here, because he was just giving off a scary vibe. He like a youth, you know, like, why would you wear that in the middle of the day? Why would you need to wear that? And then he started following us. And I've never moved so quickly in my life. And David like wanted to read a menu in a restaurant, and that was outside, and I was like, we need to get out of here like now. And we walked really quick and got away. And then he started following someone else, because I glanced behind us to make sure he'd gone. And That's what I'm talking about. Like, that could have been nothing, but it didn't feel like nothing. It gave me like that feeling in my stomach. Even David was like, okay, let's be careful of this guy. He looks like trouble. And this is the thing, is you've got to be so careful. Now, I didn't have a designer bag with me. In fact, I had my phone, it was in my hand, and I made sure to put it in my pocket and like zip the pocket up. Because as I say, people are grabbing phones these days around London. You've got to be really careful. So I think getting older and safety are two of the things that have started changing my mind on this. Okay, the next brand that I feel torn about, it's a brand that I think I pretty, like going back 5 years, I was like, guys, I'm never going to buy from this brand. It's Hermès. And what always put me off about Hermès are two things. First of all, the game. And I know a lot of you have written to me with different experiences actually. Some have said I've had to spend thousands and climb through hoops, and even then I didn't get the bag. Others of you have said, what are you talking about? There is no game. My husband walked in and bought a bag. And I have heard this. Is this a thing that the guys get sold the bags more than us women? I don't know. Let me know what you think, because David actually said to me about a month ago, yeah, back in February, he was like, oh, you know, because I'm looking at this Hermès bag, and he said, shall I just go in and try and get one? And then I said that to you guys on here, and a lot of you said, do it. I bet he gets one. And we haven't actually we've been working so much, we haven't had a chance to take a day off, but we will try that. But Hermès, I always said I'd never buy. So the first thing is the game. I don't really want to have to buy thousands of pounds worth of like scarves and bracelets and sandals that I don't really want in order to potentially qualify for a bag. And again, I know that's not the case with everyone. Some of you have even told me you've just met salespeople that you have clicked with, and you've almost become friends, I want to say. Even though you've told me in Hermès you're not allowed to like befriend salespeople, I guess that could be like a bribery thing. But some of you have said to me, I've almost become like a friend of my salesperson, and they've sort of like helped me out a little bit in getting certain bags. But the other thing that put me off Hermès is that, so the game, but also the fact that, don't know about you, but I feel like for bags that are meant to be really rare and hard to get, I see them everywhere, and they've lost their shine, they've lost their appeal. The next I need to show you. If you go back to 2015, 2016, I want to say I used to cuss the Fendi peekaboo. It was not a bag that I liked. I thought it was quite expensive for what it was, and crucially for me, it didn't have a logo. And I look back and I think that's why I didn't like it, because back in 2015, that was 10 years ago, how? But when I started getting really into YouTube, I was a different person. I was younger, I was flashier, I liked the aesthetic of a logo. And to me, if I was going to go and spend thousands on a bag, I wanted it to have a logo on it. But now as I've got older and my tastes have changed, I've sold a lot of stuff as well that has got big logos on it, because I don't feel like I'm using those things. But peekaboo, okay, I ended up buying, well, I've got two. David got me one for Christmas. This is one that I got a couple of years ago, maybe a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. And it's in this lovely chocolate colour, and I decided to get a matching twilly scarf for it, which is mauve, but it's also got chocolate around the F's on here, so it works really well. It does have like a little bit of logo on the inside. The lining has got the double F's, but then the one that David got me, please excuse this, I've put like, you know these, you know like Labubu's, how people are clipping little toys onto their bags? I've got a couple clipped onto this, but here is another version of it. I'm not sure the names. I think one's the petite and one's the small or something. But this one he got me for Christmas, and I absolutely love it. And I love them because they don't have the logo, but they've got an elegance to them. And this is another thing I feel like I'm thinking with logos. Non-logo stuff, does it feel more elegant? And then finally, Coach. I will confess, I've always been partial to Coach, but if I go back 10 years, I started buying Coach about 5 years ago, but I've got really into it in like the last 2 years. And this is one of my, I've got so many bags from there that I really like, but this is one of my favourites. This is called the Launer bag, and it's in the smaller size. It's like a little tote. It's just gorgeous. The leather is such good quality. It's got like a texture to it, but it's really squishy, it's really soft. And when I use this bag, I feel put together, but I don't feel like a target. And going back to that point I made earlier, that's something that I'm more thinking about now, is unless I'm going out to dinner, or I'm going out for a nice lunch somewhere, or I'm going, even if I was going out with a big group of my friends, like shopping in the day, you've still got to watch for being followed with your stuff when you're going back to your car or your home or what have you. Whereas when I'm carrying something like this, I feel put together. I also really like Launer. Launer looks like, to me, like their Traviata bag, which is what I've got. Looks a little bit like the Hermès Kelly. And I like the simplicity of it, but the fact it's not actually an Hermès bag. Still an expensive bag, but not on those prices, you know. And again, if I think about that Launer bag, it's an elegant, classy, very simple bag that's got a timelessness to it. It's kind of got that 1950s handbag vibe, which I quite like. It's got an elegance. So they are things that I said I would never buy into, and I either have bought into them already or I'm considering it. And I would love to get your thoughts, and just in general, do you feel like as you are getting older, your tastes have changed? Or have they not? Or maybe you were a quiet luxury person, and as you've got older, you've gone towards logos. You know, could be one way or another. I would actually love to get your thoughts on this. So please leave your comments below. I would love to get that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.